All right, everybody, thanks and welcome to another Canadian Talk podcast. Thanks for tuning in. We have a guest on the show today. She is of the female variety. We did this for International Women's Day. So, yeah, that's the only reason you're on the show. You have no talent. No.
We'll take it.
So let me just see here. So, folks, I wrote a little intro for her today. For International Women's Day, we have the fourth woman to ever be on the Canadian Talk podcast. Hopefully not the fourth unhappy participant, because the other three have been a little iffy. I'm not so sure. Today we're hoping to talk about and find out some of the latest and some of the most important topics like sourdough bread. Uh, the bigger the boob size, does that mean there's more milk? And the Kardashians, because we know these are big topics on the woman's mind. Okay, well, thanks for coming on the show. Taylor Embs is her name, and you can find her on Instagram. And for some reason, you're not on TikTok. Do you think it's like evil or what?
No, not at all. I'm just working on it. It's hard. I'm new to like the social media aspect and doing like business on there. So trying to get one platform figured out at a time.
Yeah, fair enough. And then I looked you up on YouTube, and it's like a guy riding horses. So your name is taken on YouTube, just so you know. Oh, but I was going to ask you: is M's like your name, or is that like a stage name? It seems like it's
No,
short for something.
no, that's my name. That's
Oh,
my last name.
fair enough.
It's a weird last name.
You wouldn't believe how many people have like stage names. In meeting like the people that I've done the podcast with, I keep finding out that everybody doesn't have their real name, and I'm like, am I stupid for using my regular name? Like,
That's
especially because an NBA player has the same name as me who has a podcast, but it's spelled slightly different. It's got an en instead of an an, but I'm like, I'm still fucked. Why I should have just changed my name,
yeah. I don't know if I should use my real name anymore.
right? You
I'm
got to think
questioning
about it.
everything.
It's a whole character. You got to think about it. You
Yeah,
know?
damn.
Yeah. Um, Yeah, you're gonna have to find a way to buy that YouTube from that guy.
I'll figure it out.
Yes. So you are a stand-up comedian. I've seen you from some of your clips on Instagram, and honestly, like I don't know anything much about you. I don't know where you're from. Like,
Mhm.
but I saw some of your clips, and I was like, unless she's stealing these jokes, and I don't think you are. These are like this is legit.
Oh.
So I'm happy to get you on the show, even though you're very new to comedy. Or tell me about when did you start?
So I've only been doing stand up for about 2, 3 months.
Okay.
So that kind of surprises some people and pisses some people off, which is fine.
Yeah. Just one
Uh,
second. I'm so sorry. Just 1 second.
you're fine.
Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. Derails you right in the middle. I wanted to show you my cat at the beginning, and then she started scratching at the door of the studio, making a lot of noise. Yeah.
That
By the way, I
happens.
was just kidding. My studio is in my house, so you did not lose me $200. And
Damn it.
my producer, like, she like rents one of my rooms, so also no big deal. She can just
Yeah.
come and pop in whenever, and she does the Google searches for us anyway. You won't. She doesn't even talk, so it's all good.
Fuck. Just
Yeah,
want to make me feel bad. It's fine.
yeah. So anyway, back to it. How long you been doing stand up comedy?
So 2 to 3 months. I got into it in probably a weird way. I kind of always wanted to do it, had like the classic like friends telling me I should do it, and was going to a lot of shows in San Diego. So I live in Oceanside, California. Go to shows in San Diego, California. And after one
My best friend just moved there
to San
to
Diego,
San Diego. I think he's in. But isn't San Jose? Sorry if I'm stupid, but I know they're close. But I
yep,
might be still a little bit dumb and wrong. Is San Jose kind of close to San Diego?
no,
No. Okay. Well, he moved to like Berkeley campus there, like near San Jose, which is, I mean, it's in California anyway. To me,
closer to like San Francisco area.
yes,
I
exactly,
think I could be totally wrong
exactly.
too.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
So was going to a lot of shows, and one of my friends after a show had went up to one of the openers and she had told him that he was great and then told him that I did this too. And I had never done stand up, and they put on the show that one of the clips was from. So it's called Stood Up Live. They got me on the show. I did not do great.
I
But
watched. I think
I
I
think
watched
I
it. I think you did do pretty good. At least they
so it
played it up
was
good.
so it was one before that. So that was my second time doing the show.
Oh, gotcha.
The first time was probably 6 months ago. Went into it, no experience, bombed. They said it was all right. I think they're just being nice to me, which is fine. But they did invite me back, and I kind of decided I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so I worked really hard on that set and wanted to bring more of what I thought I was capable of. And they posted some clips. I had no idea, and then I was just getting messages throughout the day, like, "Whoa, this video's out of you, this video," and it just kind of went crazy. And so I've
Yeah,
been
it
committed
did
since
go
then.
viral, right? Like one of your clips did go pretty close to viral, right?
So one of them got 1 million plus views, and
Yeah,
then another one 100, which is
that's
just
viral to
insane.
me. That's viral to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So what's the plan now? You planning to like stick with it? Tell me kind of your plan, sort of. With you got this new love now for stand up comedy. What's the plan? What's the dream?
So I try to write a few times a week. I go to about one or two mics a week. So having a full-time job and just other life responsibilities, I'm kind of learning how to juggle all of the things. But the goal is to do this full time. I mean, I'm willing to put in the work, and I kind of want to just earn my spot, at the table. So whatever
Yeah.
that takes, like, I'm ready for
So your
it.
friend said that you should do it. You said that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just shooting the shit with each other all the
Yeah.
time.
Well, I mean, like, did you have any trauma in your life? That's typically the best thing that'll lead to being a good comedian. I mean, are you a hardcore narcissist?
I
Perfect. Be a comedian.
Yeah, there's like self-hate and narcissism that
Yeah,
just like makes this perfect storm.
exactly, right? It's good
Yeah,
because you can turn it all so that now you're benefiting other people with your narcissism. That's what I like
exactly.
about it. So,
Exactly.
what about podcasts? Have you ever done a podcast before, or is this your first time?
This is my first one.
Oh, cool. All
International
right.
Women's Day.
Yeah, so that's why you delayed at the beginning then, because you were nervous, and then you're like, "Okay, wait, this is what it feels like," and then you're like, "Okay, I need 3 hours to watch this podcast to do research because I did no research,"
Yeah,
and then
I had
you
to
weren't
catch
helping
up
your
for
grandma at
pressure.
all, were you?
No, I was. We can call her right now.
Call her. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Uh, cool. Um, shit. What else? I mean, oh yeah. So what are some podcasts? Well, what got you into like? So you're a stand up comedy before you ever did it. Let's say like
Mhm.
you're a consumer of it before this couple of
Yeah.
months ago. Who are you watching?
Um. So right now, I love Mark Norman. He's maybe one of my favorite right now. I love Shane Gillis. Anthony Jeselnik is probably who I like.
Oh yeah, he's hardcore and he's so handsome too. So I can see why you'd like him. Um,
Yeah.
uh, I named my cat after Shane Gillis's cat. His
Oh,
cat's
really?
named Tybalt. That's the name of that cat that you just saw.
That's fucking hilarious. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, well, you've just named basically like my three favorite. That's pretty good. So you've got a good eye for it. And then what inspired you to like take the leap into it? Other than because I know you said you had the opportunity to do it because of your friend or whatever, but to actually take the leap, have you done any performing prior in your life or anything like that? Or
No, I'm definitely like, I think every girl says this, but I'm a very simple kind of person. Just do work, come home, don't really try to do like too much of putting myself out there. Even like taking pictures on Instagram has always been a little bit weird for me. Not to say I don't have pictures on there,
yeah.
but it's definitely a little foreign to me. So there's like a level of narcissism, but also a lot of self hatred
Yeah.
that just, you know,
Yeah.
um, but I'm
It's
31, and I work in a restaurant, and I don't want to do that forever.
Yeah, there's a lot of talking with that. I guess you can now with stand up you can talk a little less and just talk to everybody all at once and maybe get paid more
Yes.
for it eventually.
Yeah, that's the goal,
Yeah.
you know?
Cool.
It's
What? How long have you worked at a restaurant? Is that what you did for all of your 20s?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing that since I was 17.
Mm.
So I've had other jobs, worked for like the Boys and Girls Club. My first job was selling newspaper subscriptions door to door.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, I've had random little jobs, but I've always worked in a restaurant. Done
Oh yeah.
everything from back of the house to front of the house bartending.
Yeah.
Um, Easiest way to pay the bills, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Any girl I know who's a waitress, they always say they hate it, and it makes you hate people.
yeah,
But yet here you
definitely.
are trying to do good things for people, so that's a good thing.
I guess you could call it that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so what kind of podcast do you like to watch? Do you watch Mark Norman's podcast?
Um, I like the Parks and Rec. When they do, I'm big Joe Rogan fan.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love listening to Joe Rogan. Theo Vaughn, been a huge fan since the get go.
Oh yeah.
I guess like those are the two that I listen to the most. I mean, Joe Rogan, that's pretty fucking time consuming.
Yeah, no doubt. God, I've wasted a
Yeah.
lot of my life watching that. But
Yeah.
still, though, I mean, what else would I have done? I don't know where else I would have gotten my news from. It's like,
Yeah.
that's the only thing I'll watch. Like, if you're not constantly entertaining me while you're telling me stuff, I'm just going to not pay attention, you know?
Yeah, I
Like,
like staying updated on that. And then I do conspiracy like podcasts. I used to do the murder podcasts stuff
yeah.
too, like all other girls.
Oh,
But
you got to get off that. Yeah, that'll just rot your brain
yeah, it's just
and make you
depressing.
scared of everything. Yeah, it's so depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's an easy way to pass the time. But now just doing that and trying to listen to music more too with driving to San Diego a lot because it's not like that close. It's probably 40 minutes away.
Hmm. So you're getting
So
more into music. I know absolutely nothing about music. I'm actually, it's one of the things I'm most ashamed of to do with like my cultural knowledge. I know
yeah,
nothing about music. What kind of music do you like?
I love country.
Okay.
I love country, like old
Do you
outlaw
like,
country.
sorry to interrupt. Do you like Zach Bryan?
Um, he's okay. I mean, he has good stuff. I just like more of the like old school Hank Williams, like Willie Nelson, Highwayman, Johnny Cash. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
So the older
Yeah.
stuff
I'll
is.
pretend I know some of those songs. Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Maybe someone out there will.
Yeah. No,
you know.
I think I knew two of those names, but yeah, like Johnny
Yeah.
Cash, obviously, and Willie Nelson. But that other Hank
Yes.
Williams, I don't know. So, but
Oh, you got to get on that.
yeah, I like it
Try
too.
it
I've
out.
been starting to like country more. I used to like rap, and then I got into country, and I like the harmonica. Like
Yeah.
I play it a lot, and I find it's very fun because it's such a messy instrument. Like I feel it's a lot in terms of because I really like improv. Like I don't even really like stand up comedy, right? Like I like doing
Okay.
podcasting and improv. And I find sometimes that with a harmonica, it feels kind of like an instrument that's a bit improv because you'll constantly make mistakes the whole time that you're doing it because it's so hard to play it super accurately. Like, you know, like what you try to do on a piano or a violin or a guitar or whatever. It's basically impossible to do that. So
Yeah.
you kind of have to just roll with whatever notes kind of fall out of the thing. And that's what I like about it. Do you ever play any instruments or anything like that?
No, it's funny you mentioned harmonica. Probably like 6 years ago for Christmas. One of the only things my dad got me, and I don't mean that in like a one of the only things and so sad, but he got me a harmonica. And
Wow. That's
I
a
was
good
like, what are
dad.
you?
That's a good
Yeah, no,
dad.
he's sick as fuck. And I was
Yeah.
like, surprisingly, as a woman, I have a good relationship with my father, but
Yeah.
the harmonica, I was like, this is so you and so funny, and I love it.
Cool. Does he play one at all or no?
No, he doesn't play any instruments. He's really an art.
Okay.
Not as much anymore, but he used to do a lot of oil paintings and like photography.
Oh yeah.
So
What
yeah.
was the name of the place you said you were from again?
So I live in Oceanside, California.
Oceanside, California. Okay, very cool. I'm still trying to unpack the whole motivation side of things with comedy. So like
Yeah.
if I can ask a few more questions there. So like growing up, did you play sports?
I played basketball and softball.
Oh yeah, are you tall?
I'm like 5'7",
Okay, so no.
so
I guess that's
not.
tall for a girl.
Yeah, I'm tall. I'm average, but a little bit on the higher side of average, I guess.
Yeah.
I have very long legs. I got high hips,
Oh yeah,
and
that's
I
not
think it
good for
makes me look.
sports. Maybe if you're gonna
It's not
run
good for
track, but
anything.
yeah,
Yeah, anything, honestly.
yeah. Um, so you didn't. So you played a little bit of basketball. I guess that'll get you competitive because I feel like competitiveness is key in like because sometimes comedy and the social media aspect of it right now, a lot of times it feels like it's a bit of a social contest. So I feel like anybody who's involved in this or making content of any kind, there has to be a certain like deep seated competitiveness.
I think I have a deep seated level of perfectionism,
Oh yeah,
and it's something I've been
yeah,
trying to work through or
yeah,
whatever. But
yeah,
the whole that aspect to me is very weird because there's a part of it where social media is so helpful for many avenues of business,
yeah,
stand up especially,
yeah,
and it's like I appreciate anyone that's watched any clips like now or in the future. Um, I value that. That's important. You don't really have content unless you have viewers.
yeah,
But
for sure.
there's also a side of me that I'm like, this isn't the real world.
Yeah, you got to
So,
look at it. Yeah, you got to look at it like that for sure. Because, like,
yeah,
if I could interject a little bit, yeah, I would just say that
totally.
like it's weird because with social media, a lot of people will just blanket it like, oh, it's bad for you. But the reality
Mm-hmm.
is if you kind of compartmentalize it and utilize it, aside even from the business aspect, like it can be very helpful. It's like such a powerful thing to have in your phone at all times to be able to
Yeah.
stay with, whatever status quo or whatever you call it with where people are at, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like the most powerful, it's like a social calculator in a way,
But
you know?
yeah, it's very love hate, and I think if anyone can just use it and not and have the understanding that it's not the only thing that matters, or it's not
Yeah.
like an end all be
Yeah.
all.
And it's not
um
real. Like if somebody chirps you
yeah,
online is like, "Oh, you're fat." It's like you're not necessarily fat. Like that person did not say it to your face. Like
and I got a lot of that
yeah.
that happened,
Yeah.
which was
Yeah.
it's at the end of the day, I feel like, especially with comments and stuff like that, if this would have happened 5 years ago, I probably would have been
Yeah.
sad and freaking
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. That's the weird thing
it's
about like couple things I have to say here. Okay, that's the weird thing about like putting yourself out there, doing the social media, like with what you said. Maybe you pop quicker as a girl. I'm not really sure, but like, but the reality is that like nobody sees anything you do for like ever. At least for the
mhm,
first 10 years of whatever you're doing, unless you get some sort of a weird lucky thing happening. You know
yeah,
what I mean? So it's like to be afraid of it. What I learned anyway was to be afraid of it is just silly. Like it's like it's like practicing golf. Nobody's seeing you miss your shots. Like nobody sees it.
yeah.
So and then yeah, to do with your perfectionist thing. I'm a self-diagnosed OCD. I feel like at least I wash my hands like fucking 30 times a day, and I don't know why.
Oh shit,
But
yeah.
like I do a lot of weird things that I consider kind of OCD-ish. So what are some of the weird things you do that like you think is the perfectionism going too far?
I I think everything definitely has to be in its order. I think things being presentable, and if I show up to a job or to something, I want to bring my best. And even if
No,
someone
you're
says,
just describing being hardworking. Where's the
"See,
perfectionist start here? I had
uh,
a I had an auntie, my auntie Elma. She was kind of like a perfectionist, and so she would like what she did is if there was like an ant in her house, like a little insect, she would have to take everything out of the house and clean the whole entire house.
okay, that's a different level. Maybe I'm not one. I feel like we all diagnose ourselves with
Yes, so
tons of
we've
stuff
just
that's probably
diagnosed you
bullshit.
with being dramatic. That's what we've just done.
I I'm a woman, and it's International Women's Day. We're
Yes,
bringing
we're figuring it out.
awareness. Yeah,
Exactly, exactly.
yeah,
Yes, and yeah, that's just a lesson, man, out there. A woman will come onto your podcast and disarray your whole day. She'll disarray your whole life. She'll be like, I got to help my grandma. I don't care about all your drugs. Figure it out. Sorry, I'm just rambling here.
no, you're fine.
Okay.
You're fine.
So yeah, we were talking kind of more about what you do as a perfectionist, and then like your goals as a comedian. So, any
I
other
think
funny ones that you do as a perfectionist, or should we move on? Is this not funny?
I don't think there's any funny ones. I think
No,
it's just kind of sad.
this makes you sound scary. Then
It's
yeah, let's
just sad, yeah.
yeah. No, there is nothing worse. Like I like then well, I don't mean it like that, but like there is when
No,
in terms of dating, there's nothing worse than like a girl that's like too perfectionist, where it's like you feel like you've done everything, like and it's just never enough. You know?
yeah,
Like, yeah.
it's never enough for me, like my personal self. And then I don't want to say I'm super critical of other people, but I
Oh,
mean, there's a reason why I'm single.
yeah, yeah, me too.
Yeah,
God, I'm the judgiest person ever. But I try to be honest, so like I'm honest about my that I just judge everybody, and I'm not
yeah,
sure if that's like the right. I feel like there's a certain amount that you have to lie in life a little bit, like I don't know, white lies or
yeah,
something about yourself. What do you think? It's like that's not like that liberal mentality where it's like you can still do all the kind of the bad things that they accuse conservatives of, let's say, but just rebrand them, be
yeah,
like that. Many people say that that's kind of like what the DEI movements are and stuff nowadays. There, many people say that it's like it's out in the open way of being of like white people continuing to keep that thing in the forefront of like you're different, we need to help you, and in the sense that translates to racism anyway. I don't know, but like
I I mean, not to get too, I think if you say for like voter ID, for example, saying that having voter ID for people to cast votes is racist and it's usually targeted towards, African Americans.
yeah,
Like, oh, you're essentially saying they're incapable of getting an ID, which is
exactly,
fucking crazy and racist. So
yeah,
I think the whole DEI thing, it's bad for business. I don't agree with it because I think people should be hired based on merit. Like if you're
yeah,
good enough, you're good enough. If you're not, you're not.
for sure,
That's my personal feelings. I know
yeah,
everyone won't agree with it, and that's
yeah.
fine.
Yeah,
We're allowed to
we
do
can
that.
preserve our planes from rolling over, or whatever the most
Yeah,
recent
right.
clip is of that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't have any position on it. Yeah, merit is good, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not necessarily one side
yeah.
or
It
the
just
other.
sucks
I think
when.
there's
Yeah, sorry, I interrupted. Yeah, it just that's
no.
the problem with video podcasting. Yeah, it just sucks that when like if you set a couple of stipulations that you hope to be simple enough to reach, like oh, can you get an ID to vote? You hope everybody can do it, but then there's always just a subset of people that are like, shit, we can't do it. So it's
Of
like then
course.
then is that racism, or is that just a subgroup of people that can't meet the guidelines? And it's like, well, what do we think? What do we think here? This is because that is the source of like institutional racism and all that type of stuff, right? I mean,
Yeah,
we're getting
definitely.
real here, real fast. We don't have to do this.
I bring it out in people I don't
Yeah,
know.
let's sorry, let me just go back to my list here. So how's your day going? What are you up to today other than helping grandma?
I have to go to work later tonight, so nothing too glamorous or exciting.
Classic girl thing that like that's the thing that you do with your day. It's like, yeah, got to go to work. Oh, I hate work. You know.
It's I am grateful to have a job. I don't. I've just been there for so long, so I think once you've been there for a certain amount of time, um, that's why I want to do comedy. I want to do
Yeah, switch it
something that I enjoy, and I'll probably end up hating that too because I'm a woman.
up.
It's just
Yeah, yeah, for sure. No, yeah, I was the same way. I've had a lot of jobs. My actual profession is an engineer, but
okay.
that is the stuffiest thing ever. It's like worse than being a lawyer.
Yeah,
It's stuff. It's so stuffy, and if you're wrong once, it's like the worst thing ever. And yeah, it definitely can lead a person to comedy. I don't know.
yeah.
What's the worst job you ever had?
Oh gosh. I feel like I have to think about that one.
Okay.
Probably bartending. Um, I worked at a dive bar. Lots of military and just different people, anyone that's been in the military, genuinely thank you for your service. But I feel like when they're young and they're drinking and you're a chick, it's just, it was a lot and the long nights. And my social battery only goes so far,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Military guys are tough. I was at a, I know quite a few of them, and even for our Canadian military, if you can even call it a military.
I was
Uh,
going to say,
yeah, this particular guy I'm referencing has a DUI. So, I mean, I don't know how seriously you can take this person, but yeah, we were at a wedding and yeah, he like, I don't know, they try to start fights all the time. Like any fights I've ever been have always been with military guys, and like they'll just attack you. It's really crazy. They're impulsive, I will say that, but yes, like you said, thank you for your service, and we love your mentality for that position. But I
yeah,
find I get into fist fights with military guys all the time.
there was a ton of fights. It was like a local bar too. So it was military and local people. And we had some like bikers and just
Yeah.
people that were a little bit more maybe like rough around the edges. And
Yeah.
when people are young and have like an ego, it can lead to
Yeah, that's tough stuff.
fights and
Yeah.
yeah.
When I was like in my late teens, like this is my worst job. By the way, this is one of my worst jobs. Uh, I liked heights. Like I liked being up on roofs, like hanging out on a roof. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna be a roofer. So I go and I get this job as a roofer. Literally, I think I lasted it would be lying really to say I lasted a week.
Yeah.
I did it for like a week and it was so horrible. You have to be around like melting tar all day and it just stinks. And you have to wear all the safety gear, even if it's plus like 30. You're up on
Yeah.
the roof in the sun. You have to wear all the safety gear. Worst thing ever.
My dad, so I used to go with him on jobs when I was a kid. He did general contracting. He was all over the place, but his specialty was drywall.
Oh yeah, that's
So
hard. You got to do meth to do drywall, or it's just not even doable.
yeah, and I would be 7 years old just holding these things up so he could tape it up and do the
Holy
like
shit!
yeah. So maybe that was my worst job, child labor laws. I was
Yeah,
in there for free.
yeah. My first job. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, do you have like a favorite female comedian, or do you just like males?
Um, no, I do love the men, but I do love the women too. So as far as older like classic comics, Joan Rivers was definitely one of my favorites.
Okay.
Um, I I respect the shit out of her.
Is she a
Nikki
comic or is she
Glazerman.
like an actress? I'm sorry, forgive me. I don't know much.
No, so she did a lot of different things, but she started up as a stand-up comic and then um maybe she did some acting, but I know she had a part in doing this like fashion red carpet in her older age where she would kind of talk shit and say stuff to people that were on the red
Oh
carpet.
yeah. Oh yeah. Now I remember her. Yeah, she was super good at that. Okay.
Yeah, and a lot of people remember her for that, but her stand up was just so, it was stuff that women hadn't said before.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Is that what you hope to do with your stand up? Like, do you want to be more of a shock comic like that? Is that what you're hoping to do as well? Kind of continue to push the envelope?
I
Or,
think it's important too.
yeah. What are some things
I
that you want women to say more that currently you think in the modern day that they're not saying enough?
I think that everyone just in general should be open and honest about their feelings. I think kind of the hot takes is more of what I really like, especially in society. Like, for example, we were talking about people with diagnoses and the self diagnosis stuff. And I have a bit that I've been doing that's kind of like about autism. And I'm like, the rest of you guys don't have it. You just want attention.
Yeah.
And I I truly believe that I have a friend that she has a kid that has autism and I do
Yeah. Like, if you've ever
I
seen real autism, it's like hardcore.
you don't
I don't, and
yeah, you
by the
don't
way,
have to tell people. We
yeah.
can see that you have it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not
My bit about I love that premise. That's a great premise. I'm sure you'll write some good ones on that. I have a little bit that I recently wrote about that where it's basically the premise is like all these people that think that they have autism. Literally, go hang out with children for a little while. Like,
yeah.
do anything in life that takes your attention span. The problem with people who think they have autism is they need to do more things. It's like you're sitting there in your room all day, like on your phone or whatever, and it's giving you the illusion that your attention span has to be 30 minutes long, when the reality is real life. Like, go and do something, and kids will distract you, and then you'll realize, maybe I don't have autism. Like, this kid is fucking, fuck this kid, you know?
Well, and I see it a lot, like in comedy, just in everywhere where people are like, oh, I don't like making eye contact or talking to people. And it's like, yeah, but you're capable of doing it. You just don't want to. So that's totally different than having,
Exactly.
and, and I feel like when people start claiming any mental anything or diseases, disorders, like, and that's a wide range, not just autism, you kind of take away from the people that actually have it.
Yeah.
So that's something I have a problem with. So if there's things and situations like that in life, I want to look at them and think of a hot take. Like, I feel as a comedian, we present things through our eyes, like how we see it. And I just see bullshit everywhere. I think everyone's full of shit. They're on a fucking high horse, and myself included. I think I
Yeah.
can be full of shit too. So, like,
Yeah.
let's call each other on it.
Yeah,
I,
exactly. We all are. We're all so full of shit. That's what I love about comedy. And if I could just rant for another second here, it's
yeah.
just like, that's my tough part too, about even, let's say, being an engineer, or let's say when I talk to professors or scientists or people that take themselves really seriously. It's like, if you say something wrong, you are in trouble. You could lose your license, or you could lose this or that. With comedy, at least we can actually think about things and talk about things freely without any risk of that. You know?
Yeah, I mean, talk to some people, they've had risk, but it
Oh yeah,
shouldn't be like that.
yeah,
In my opinion, I think there's a difference between pointing things out and being blatantly hateful or rude about things. Everything's a joke. I don't there's a time and a place to be serious, but also it lightens everything up if you can joke about it. Like, when I die, I want people to be talking shit and cracking jokes at my funeral. Like, there's certain things that such a paradox, and two things can be right at the same time. It can be
yeah,
sad, but it can also be funny.
yeah, for sure. Did you go to university?
No, I actually got kicked out of high school.
Oh, why'd you get kicked out of high school?
I used to skip school a lot, so
Why?
um I guess my childhood was a little weird. I was raised by my dad till I was 13. So
Oh, okay. So we
just
have
by
we
my
have
dad.
polar opposites. You were raised by a male, in a male dominated thing, just by your dad, you say. I was raised by two women. So I had
Oh
no
wow.
male influence. You had only male influence.
Yeah, it was that's interesting.
That's super interesting. And
Yeah,
then
which
what
I think
happened?
has shaped a lot of how I am and look at things. Maybe I'm still a woman. I still complicate things and freak out about nothing, but I have maybe somewhat of a male insight.
Yeah.
My dad was cool as fuck. We watched Beavis and Butthead. Like, I was raised on that kind of stuff, saw the guys talking shit. And that's one of my favorite things, like playing card games and just seeing people talk story and
Yeah.
shoot the shit.
Yeah, a person who doesn't like, I've got a couple theories about people like not to trust. They're like these short form things of people not to trust. People who don't like cards or board games, don't trust them. People who don't wear hats, don't trust them. And I could go on, but yeah. So that you feel that maybe influenced you to not care about school, or what exactly led you to think that school is bullshit?
Well, so when I was 13, I moved with my mom. She was in prison my childhood, so I didn't actually meet her until I was 10.
Prostitution?
Uh, what was that? Restitution? Sorry.
I'm
Yeah,
just kidding.
no,
I'm just kidding.
no, you're fine. She's the inspiration for a lot of my jokes.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, you got to work through it. And I think when I moved with her at 13, it was probably a shock for someone that's that young, and I think I just rebelled in every way. My dad always worked, and I was super latchkey kid, kind of like did what I wanted. We lived in a trailer park where it was,
Hmm.
we just ran around,
Hmm.
and then my whole life was different. So I had rules all of a sudden where my dad really trusted me to make right decisions, let me be an individual. And then with my mom, it was a lot different. So I did everything to rebel. I was like, I don't want to go to school. I want to do what I want to do. And in some ways, it's like, I don't regret any of it now because it's taught
Yeah.
me a lot.
Yeah, anything that builds that independence, it seems like
Yeah.
that's definitely the source of maybe why you sort of were suspicious of rules early on or suspicious of too much structure. But yeah, anything I see what you're saying though in terms of like, yeah, you got to be positive about it at the end because but yeah, anything that makes you more independent or makes it tougher. I do the same thing with my issues that I think I had growing up. You
Hmm.
have to do that. If you're not doing that where it's like, "Okay, it was all good for me." You're really going to end up a liberal real fast, you know?
It's,
Like,
and yeah. And I don't like things may be different from someone else, but I try to look at it as I'm not unique or special. I'm not the first person that's went through something or a difficulty or a hardship and like either make it your whole personality and that personality fucking sucks or make it something better and move on. Like life goes on. So there was a lot of decisions that I made as a teenager that got me in a lot of trouble, but I know how to make good decisions because I made enough bad ones.
yeah. Like what? Like a tattoo or like what do you got to be more specific. So, tell me the worst thing you did as a kid.
So eighth grade going into freshman year, when
Okay.
I it was the first year I lived with my mom,
Yes.
went and it was me and two other people. I shouldn't name any names. Broke into a hotel storage shed, stole paint buckets and a cement gun. It's really bad. I've been arrested, so I feel like I can talk about it. But we didn't like this girl. We were being mean girls, and one of the people we were with said that they knew where her apartment was.
Okay.
So we go paint a dick. I'm not even kidding. Like as big as my wingspan, veiny, hairy nuts, and it wasn't a spray can. It was a paint can that we had this like lot. It was so
Oh
fucked up.
my
Tried to cement their front door like lock shut because we had the caulking gun.
god. Oh no.
Yeah.
Did it
Yeah.
work?
And then no. And for
Just
the
opens the
grade,
other way. It's like, oh, you put the
yeah, it
wrong
was
side.
just none of us are fucking
Yeah, you can't do
contractors. We
that from
didn't
the outside.
it it was so bad. We poured the rest of the paint bucket into the apartment building pool.
Oh my god. That's some awesome delinquent shit. That's crazy.
It gets worse.
Okay.
It it gets worse. Eventually this guy hears us that lives in the apartment, and it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I was staying at my friend's house. We snuck out. This one of our guy friends met up with us, so there's three total. The guy comes out and he looks and he sees the dick and he's fucking pissed. Starts chasing us. And I'm not that fast, like at all.
Okay, yeah. The long legs, you
And
can't control them.
no, he was a big dude. I was like, this is fucking terrifying. So he's chasing me. My two friends get away. I'm like
Hold on.
going.
Oh, we're back. We're back.
Is it going?
Yeah, we're back. We lost your
Okay,
video there for a second. We're good now.
perfect. I'm running. He's running after me. I slip on the concrete, hit my chin,
Oh
and
no.
his wife comes out and she's like, I'm fucking calling the cops. I'm like, don't do it. I just moved in with my mom. I was like, I'm gonna fucking go to boarding school. I don't even like regular school. I'm
Yeah.
fucked.
Oh my
Um,
god.
the cops come. My two friends are away, and they're like, who were you with? Like he said he saw two other people. I was like, I'm not with anyone. Like
Oh
I was
yeah.
trying to be so hardcore. They actually came back for me. The guy didn't get arrested, but the girl got arrested as well. I was on probation for 6 months of my freshman year.
Okay.
I had to do a graffiti and vandalism class. So I was going to downtown San Diego with people that actually did graffiti. And they're like, what'd you do? I'm like, I painted a dick.
Yeah, yeah.
And the best part of it, it wasn't even the girl's apartment.
Oh
It
my
was the
God, you
wrong
got the wrong
fucking.
apartment. Holy shit. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. That kills my dick story. That absolutely kills my dick story. I was training to be a lifeguard when I was like in my later teens, so a little bit older than you were.
Yeah.
And I was in one of the classes and I drew a dick on a guy's paper and I got kicked out of lifeguarding. But yeah, that is absolutely insane. Yeah, that would get you kind of in the bad kid group pretty quick, being on probation when you're in high school and stuff. And I guess that
Oh, yeah.
that would do it. Hey, and then so you
And
dropped out in what, grade 11 or?
so I got kicked out in 12th grade. They waited till I was 18.
Oh yeah,
I turned 18 the beginning of my senior year.
yeah. I mean, don't even. I mean, have you done a GED or?
Yeah, I have my
Oh yeah,
GED.
but still,
I
not even like needed. I mean, education now. It's like even if you have a university degree, it's like the thing is just paper now. Nobody even cares anymore. They're just trying to hire people for as cheap as they can get them. Like, oh, the work.
when,
Sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just agreeing with you. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah. Like it's like the work industry now, especially in engineering. In my field, it's so horrible. It's like you can't even get a job as an engineer because there's 10 other little sub jobs that they've broken it down into now, so that they
Yeah,
can go through a loophole and hire a person to do the work who doesn't have the accreditation, but then they just submit it to the person who stamps it. But there's just no jobs anymore as an engineer. Well, like there's jobs, but there's just it's not the same. They've parsed out all
yeah.
the industries, so it's a real headache, you know.
And I think like I do believe college, it might be different in the next few years. It seems like it's changing a lot, but
Yeah,
if you have a specific career field you want to go into or passion, you
yeah,
have to do that.
yeah.
But
You
that
can
was
do it
just
now.
never
Yeah, and the
never
training is
my
shorter, which is good because what I'm
yeah.
saying. Yeah, but I guess at the end of the day, I do want to promote universities because like yeah, I'm invested heavily in that. Like I don't know, I don't want ever the university institutions to like become not respected or fail because I've if just a little bit about me, like I manage rental properties that I purchased. Like my strategy was let's get them around a university and then
Hmm.
rent to students, and you got a good source of
That's
renters
smart.
who are not litigious because they're young and dumb and
Yeah.
and have their parents money potentially. So
So you're personally invested in this. This is like some
exactly. So
insider
university is
trading.
so important. Literally, you
Yeah.
cannot get a job without a degree. Go to
Yeah.
university.
Pushing that. It's
Yeah, sorry. That was what I meant. That was what I meant.
no, I like it. The insider trading is fucking great.
Yeah.
Fucking no, and it's I I think for me, I respect anyone that goes and does that. It's I I don't think that I'm dumb. I don't think that I'm smarter than I am either. I do want to obtain as much knowledge as I can. I like learning. I like reading, and school just wasn't the way that I did it. I liked the experience of it. Field trips and like museums and things like that, I would be fully invested. But sitting, which is crazy because I sit and write so fucking much now, but it's something that I'm interested in.
Let's
And I
talk
don't
about
like,
that for a quick second. Um,
yeah,
what's your writing process like? Do you have some things? Because like obviously for me, podcasting is my writing process, and I have various other little things I do to get me in the zone. How do you get in the
yeah.
zone?
Uh, I like to light incense. That's probably one of the gayest things I do. I
Oh
light incense and set some
God.
mood lighting. That's not even a Joker bit.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I get in the shower and just kind of sit in my bed. I've tried to do it at my desk.
Yeah. How good
I
is the
feel like,
shower for thinking? Hey, before I started this podcast about 6 years ago. Literally, when I was stupid in the beginning, some of my original ideas were that I wanted to do a podcast where and just call it shower thoughts, and you would do a podcast with somebody while you're in the shower. And
okay,
but like, how stupid of an idea is that? The logistics of setting that up is the dumbest thing. You'd never get a guest ever to come on your podcast and be like, "Hey, you have to be in the shower. Set up your camera, so that it's like we can each have our shower thoughts together. It would just never. It couldn't work with guests. Maybe you could do it solo, or it could be like a skit thing.
You
But
could do it with some people, but realistically, how long can you be in the shower for? It's going to get
exactly,
cold. Like, you're going to
exactly.
get the pruny
Yeah,
fingers.
yeah, yeah.
I think you could get people to do it. It wouldn't be a long podcast.
No, it wouldn't be. Yeah, but like those gimmick podcasts, that you can't make it too hard for people to come on. Like even Kevin Hart's podcast, where he did it in like a cold or like a I think he did it in like a float tank.
Hmm.
Kevin Hart, right? That's that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Have you heard of his show where he was doing his podcast and they were sitting in the tubs?
No, I
Yeah, it was
don't
only
know.
around
Okay.
for like a year because it didn't last. But
Yeah,
yeah,
there
the
you
gimmick
go.
podcasts aren't that great of an idea. But yeah,
I mean,
so
it complicates things.
yeah,
I think the simpler format usually works
yeah,
better and it's, yeah,
yeah,
more accessible.
yeah. So would you consider yourself? Never mind. That's a dumb question.
Now I want to hear it.
Okay, okay. Would you consider yourself like a right leaning person, or do you put yourself anywhere politically other than in the center? And what's that like growing up in California? With my understanding from I live up in the goddamn Arctic. My
Yeah,
understanding
you
of
guys have Trudeau, huh?
yeah, yeah, but he fucking resigned, and apparently that doesn't count or something
Yeah.
because he's still leading the country. I don't have a clue what's going on with our politics, but yeah, what's it like to be kind of a right leaning person potentially in California? Was going to be the question.
Um, so I'd consider myself definitely libertarian.
Oh,
Um,
okay. I have a buddy that's a libertarian. Okay, tell me what that means to you. I'm so interested.
I I think that people should have the freedom to make their own decisions. I'm a big believer in people that think politically. They want to make all these changes
Yes.
and they think so big. And I'm big. It's like, do you even know your neighbors' names? Do you help your neighbors when they're in need? Are you involved in the city council? Are you taking an active role in what's going on in your community?
Yeah.
And I think a lot starts there. I believe in taking care, well, firstly, of yourself, because that's how you can help others.
Yes.
And then if you take pride in your neighborhood, in your community, and look out for each other, I think that's where it starts. And at the same time, as long as I'm not harming anyone or inflicting anything unnecessary, like I should be able to do what I want in my home, and my neighbors should be able to do what they want in theirs. I believe in the freedom of choice and expression.
Okay.
Uh,
So if I could interject real quick, that's a
yeah,
that's a all great stuff. So if I could, if I was to put it into more of a shorter sentence, it would be something like, so you believe you're kind of a liberal, but you believe in kind of making the communities smaller, and you're conservative when it comes to the household, is what it's feeling like.
um, I don't know if I would say I'm liberal.
No, but that community aspect is a liberal.
I think that's humanistic.
Is it?
I
What does
think
that mean?
I think that that's just a human. I think that's more of like a tribal thing. Like if you get in touch
Because I
or
love
look
the
at,
because I love the thing where you're saying that you take care of yourself first and then you can take care of the rest, and that's a conservative belief.
mm-hmm.
And then how does that's what I've never really fully understood what libertarian is. I get that, but what is it? How is it different than being a liberal? Is it just because you're kind of more of an aggressive liberal? I don't quite get it.
No, it's more of the people have the freedom to choose. Like, I think the government should have as little say in choice in my life as possible.
But
There's
what about your neighbor? Should they have a say in you? So if you're going to take it away from the bigger institutions, let's say those neighbors that you say you should have great importance for, do they have a say in your life, or who has a say in your life?
yourself, like you have
Just you.
autonomy.
Okay.
So it's, there's definitely rules to it, like murder and things like that. But people having, like a lot of libertarians believe like there's big Second Amendment people, and
And that's
which
guns,
also,
right? That's guns, right?
yeah, guns, which goes with in freedom of speech, our First Amendment. We should be able to say and do what we want, and there's a lot of things that the government can come and impose on people in general,
Yeah.
and
Well,
libertarians just, you
yeah.
shouldn't have a say in my life
I agree.
or
I wish we could apply that to fucking social media. I can't tell you how many funny jokes I've written on like in the comment section that just happen to have the word gay in it and then it gets taken down. It's like, where is my freedom of speech on the internet? I thought the internet was supposed to be like a free place. And social media is kind of like taking that away a little bit. I was
yeah.
hoping it was going to get better. When I saw Zuckerberg starting to hang out with Trump and like Elon, I
Hmm.
was like, maybe it's going to get a little better. And he put that video on his social media. Did you see? Have you heard of? Did it come across your thing about his little manifesto? Like, he made a little video that said he was going to start honoring free speech more on social media. Did you see that?
I saw him on Joe Rogan, so I
Yes, and
listened
he
to
said the
that.
same thing. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah. There's definitely people in that sphere that I enjoy, some for just entertainment purposes, but I do respect people that I know a lot of people aren't a fan of Trump, but it seems like he is very consistent in who he says he is.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like what you see is what you get for the most part. He
yeah,
like he's off the cuff, says whatever the fuck he wants, and
yeah.
I respect that.
Me
Like
too. Me too.
I have a ton of friends that they're assholes. I'm a fucking asshole sometimes, but
Yeah,
I respect you if you know you are. I hate
yeah.
the I'm such a good person, and it's like, no, you're
No, you're not. Don't lie.
yeah, and that's fine. It takes all types of people to make up this world. Just fucking be who you are.
Yeah, and some
Um,
people like to lie about
yeah,
whether or not they're nice, and you go ahead and do that, you know, and you just keep
people
taking
see
your
through it.
salary from the charity that you run, and taking
Yes.
80% of the money that was supposed to go and help the, you know, the goats that fall asleep while they're standing or whatever, the
Hmm.
children with whatever, but then you take your salary, which is most of the
Yeah,
money that goes to your charity anyway. But no, you're a good person. You're a good person. You're totally
exactly.
not using charity to make your income because you couldn't survive in a proper capitalist system. No, no way.
The fucking virtue signaling just makes me
Yeah.
sick. I'm like, stop.
Me too. When I heard this is random, sorry, but like
No, you're
when
fine.
I heard that the government gave 25 million to the Clinton Foundation when they were doing this whole Doge thing, I was like, oh my fucking god, that's insane. You know, because that's like the most corrupt charity in the world or whatever, isn't it? I mean, I don't know. I don't know anything about that. But
It's I think it's highly questionable. I don't want to say that I'm there was a while that I was heavily involved in politics, but just as like how we were talking about the murder podcast and stuff like that. I think if you overconsume anything, social media included,
yeah,
it's not healthy. And with phones, and we have more access to information than we've ever had, which is great and it's
yeah,
helpful.
yeah,
But it's also I have to shut it off sometimes.
yeah, yeah,
So it's I think I believe in questioning everything. I kind of think all of them are full of shit. There's definitely people I like more. There's definitely sides that I agree with more. I don't think anyone is fully conservative or liberal. You kind of just have to pick what you
yeah.
align with more.
For sure. Can I interject there? I would say this
Yeah.
is my view on that, and the way that I hope for it to. Well, this is the way I think that it functions, without most people realizing it. Um, it's because, like right now, I'm not going to say, "Oh, hey, do you like Trump?" Because let's say,
Mm-hmm.
because sure you do, you like him now because it's maybe what the situation needs now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think sometimes that people forget about the fluidity of politics, and that like there will be a time, the time may come again where we do need more liberal or democratic
Mm-hmm.
leadership,
Yeah.
but right now isn't the time, and then it goes this way and it goes that way, and I think sometimes people forget that and they get too staunch on one side or the other. I kind of like to always play in the middle, you know.
Yeah. But I think making anything your whole identity or personality
Bad
is
idea. Yeah,
it's fucking lazy and it's stupid. Like
yeah,
let's
yeah.
it but
People
like you
choose the
said,
weirdest
there's
things to make their identity. Hey, it's like I don't get it at all. Like, well, like what we were saying earlier with girl, like so many girls make their job their whole identity. We don't need to make it a gendered thing though. Like there's like
I
people, but a lot of people do make their work their whole
yeah.
identity, which I fucking hate. Like I'm more of a person who I feel like you should have your other stuff be your identity. Like your hobbies or whatever.
Yeah, it's I think that there's so many different components that make up humans. There's a Walt Whitman quote that I love, and it's so I contradict myself very well. Then I contain multitudes. Like people make up so different parts. So to put yourself in just one category or a section or whatever, I think that that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Like we all have so much to us. So
You're
you
being a
can be,
reductionist for your own personality. Why do
yeah,
that? You know?
why
Yeah,
limit,
exactly.
you know,
Yeah, yeah,
yourself?
for sure. Well, shit, I don't even know how long we've been talking. I guess we've been talking for over an hour. Awesome. Well, um, let's see here. Can we put a bow on this? I don't know. We've got an episode here of the show. Uh, I mean, anything
Did
you
I
want to
do
promote?
enough for women on Women's Day?
I
Did I represent us well?
We'll let them decide in the comments.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
thank you
don't
so
know.
much for
Yeah,
doing this.
of course.
I think this was amazing. This just confirmed my belief that girls are better than men at everything.
I
Uh,
don't agree, but that's fine.
I believe in women's
The
empowerment.
women are going to hate me now.
But yeah, women are awesome at podcasting. And yeah, thank you so much. That's Taylor Embs. You can find her on Instagram. Um, at that, it's just Taylor Embs Comedy. M spelled EMBS, right? Yeah, I
Yes.
remember it because I was like trying to message it, and I'm sure you get this all the time, so I'm sorry, but it fucking autocorrects to embarrassed, and I was like, oh my
Oh,
god, this is so annoying. Your last name autocorrects to embarrassed every time.
fuck. I haven't heard that, but
Yeah,
I mean, it makes
it would be
sense.
annoying to have a name that autocorrects to something else. It's like, hey, Taylor embarrassed, how you doing? Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
God damn
Anyway,
it. Well, now if that happens, I'll know.
yes, yeah. All right, so that's Canadian Talk episode 114. Thank you everybody for tuning in. That's it.
Thank you.
Canadian Talk out.
Thank
Okay.
you for having me on.
Yeah, you betcha.